The next item on our agenda is the Safe Route to Schools program. So if you could introduce yourself and take it away.
It's okay. It's okay. I got my hands tied. Well, that. Am I on? Check, check. Okay. Arun Goel, Alameda County Transportation Commission, Safe Routes to School Program Manager. See, now I can't even look at my cheat notes. So we're going to add some comedy here.
Do you know if the bus passes are free or reduced youth bus in the expenditure plan? Do you know?
I don't have the exact definition of that at this point because it's a program that is still being established.
Okay.
And the finites are obviously be fully defined as we start to move forward with the expenditure plan. But I'm pretty sure more information will come along those lines.
Okay. Sorry.
No problems. Matter of fact,
I don't mean to throw you a curveball.
my presentation is pretty much ad hoc, so it's not scripted. The idea is to be able to provide you guys some information about our program. And so what I'll do is I'll get started, and I'll try to make my way to the end of the presentation and then entertain any questions that you may have. So the Safe Routes to School program in Alameda County is one of the nation's largest Safe Routes to School programs, and most comprehensive at that. We were recognized in August of 2013 for that. And so what our program really focuses on is teaching kids how to get to school safely by walking, biking, carpooling, using the bus, and essentially using green transportation alternatives, reducing the carbon footprint. Some of the benefits are basically helping provide for healthy kids, helping them thrive, and when they attend school, making them more alert. So essentially, the program's focused on what we call the 5 E's: education, encouragement, enforcement, engineering, and evaluation. And so in my presentation today, I'll touch upon some of those elements and also be able to address some questions and concerns that you may have. A little highlight about the history of the program. In 2006, it was started with Caltrans funding the program in 4 schools. In 2007, Measure B saw this as an excellent opportunity to help kids get to and from school safely. And basically, they're our future asset. So they put Measure B grant funds to work, and that was underneath the old agency's name was Alameda County Transportation Improvement Authority, currently now called Alameda County Transportation Commission. Some of you may know it as the half-a-cent sales tax for transportation improvement, or Measure B. In 2011, the Safe Routes to School program grew to 88 schools, and in 2013, we leveraged federal and state funds with the use of local Measure B funds to get to over 100 schools. This is kind of a mapping of where we were in 2012-13. Prior to that, we were primarily focused in the northern county, and then we started to move towards the southern and the eastern segments of the county. Emeryville now does have 1 school on board, and they joined us last year in 2013. So again, the program has 2 main components. One is a comprehensive program. It is a competitive application process, which provides a one-on-one site coordinator that works with the parent champions, the principals, the city, the school board, the parties that have vested interest. And we also provide free education encouragement programs and free safety incentives. That's the encouragement elements. A school that doesn't get on board, like the remainder of your schools in Emeryville that could not make the competitive application or did not apply, any school can get this information online using our information that we have that provides the technical expertise and understanding along with the curriculums that may be associated with that. Again, the county program expanded to over 102 schools last year. We do have a comprehensive report on that, so if you were interested in getting more information, it's nice and thick, and it goes into the individual schools. And again, Emeryville, Anna Yates Elementary joined us in spring of 2013. We've delivered and organized over 400 events throughout the county, and they focus on 3 big events. the International Walk and Roll to School, which happens in October, the Golden Sneaker, which happens in March, and Bike to School Day, which occurs in May. Throughout the year, we do offer assemblies to elementary schools, skills drills, bike education, walking school buses, themed walks, and bike-mobile visits. Don't know how many of you guys know about the bike-mobile. The bike-mobile was started up 2 years ago with federal and state funds to offer free repairs to children and their parents of the schools. And essentially what we do also is provide the education, the safety, and how to fix those bikes. We found a real segment in the community that basically could not afford, did not want to, or did not know how to go to a bike store to have a functional bike. And so what we did learn was this bike-mobile program was a highly successful program and is now a permanent component of our program. And we're also in high schools. We do have 6 high schools. We started off with a pilot program 2 years ago, and now we added 2 more. And we are planning to continue to expand our offerings at about a ratio of about 10% minimum per year. A little snapshot of the International Walk and Roll School Day that happened in October of 2013. We were in over 96 schools, so 96 schools did participate with over 21,000 students in Alameda County participating and enjoying the option of walking and rolling to school. The Golden Sneaker Contest that's coming up this coming March 13th through the 14th, so there's time to sign up. You don't have to be part of a program to be in, but Anna Yates definitely would be participating. Last year, 57 schools were in, and we did have what's called a platinum school competition. So they were offered a platinum sneaker that basically recognized them for their motivation, their environment, their students that wanted to participate inside of Alameda County. And at the standard golden sneaker is every school receives a golden sneaker and they distribute it to their highest performing classroom. Bike to School Day, as you guys know, is in May. It's tagging along with Bike to Work Day or Bike to Work Month. And essentially, 65 schools participated in May. That was a 44% increase over the prior year. 2,300 students did participate on that event. The Bike-mobile, this is that snapshot. That's what our Bike-mobile looks like. Through the success of that program, the region MTC did start a program offering it throughout the Bay Area. And the notable piece here is every time we visit a school, we see over 115% increase of bikes on the bike racks. Time and time again, we've been servicing over 3,300 bikes since the conception. Anna Yates, like I said, did participate in the International Walk and Roll. They did do their student tallies, and I'll show you some of that information. The Golden Sneaker Contest, we're hoping to see them participate actively on that, along with the Bike to School Day. The key piece here is Safe Routes to School. The program for the county is not a standalone product. It does focus on working with the school districts and the city to leverage local tax dollars and procure federal and state funding. So for instance, and I'm going to get into that a little bit about future funding and what we can do for that. A little bit about the trends. Again, everything was moving up. We started offering more segments and really looking at what were the benefits to children in today's society. And this graph right here really shows that the participation levels are going up year by year. As we would want to see, active modes are moving up, shared modes are moving up, and the individual drive alone, single occupant with a family vehicle is moving down. Those are all positive directions for those mode splits. In addition, as many of us would be able to conclude, but statistically never had the information before, we noticed that for a quarter-mile distance, you had more likeliness to walk, and it continues to go down as you move further away. This is based on actual student surveys at the individual schools throughout the county of Alameda. Mode splits, in this case, Emeryville is not on the chart. Like I said, they started with us back in April of 2013, so we will be getting some information from them, and I'll show you what Anna Yates is performing at. the key portion to look at really is the baseline for the county, which was set at 29% that walk. At Anna Yates, 25.5% walk, and this is confirmed by the hand tallies that we took. 60.5% use a family vehicle. We're going to work on bringing that number down. Obviously, geographic distribution and distance has a really key element there, but what we do need to do is maybe focus on the other green elements like biking and using transit. What can we do? Safe Routes to School program complements. We do a walk audit. What I did over here is I put up a sample of what a walk audit would look like. The things that we focus on essentially would be like the parking lots, the pedestrian crosswalks, the school drop-off points, bike racks on the facility, connectivity to trails. The key element behind here is this is not happening in a vacuum. It's working with the parents, working with the children, working with the principal, the school district, and the city to come up with a comprehensive improvement concept plan. And I want to stress the word concept. These concepts can then be turned into abilities to focus on for leveraging applications for funding opportunities that may be coming down. The active transportation program, going through the CTC right now, hoping to establish their guidelines in March of this year, will be having a call for projects in May. And there's an opportunity for that funding, and it's in the magnitude of around $24 million per year, and at the first call, they're going to compile 3 years. So that's $72 million for competitive grants. Okay, and that's really critical. We want to focus on that opportunity and look at the perspective of how we can use the local Measure B dollars through the walk audits, through letters of support, through support of a nationally recognized program to procure those funds. Further on, like I said before, Measure B, which is a funding component voted in 1986, again reauthorized in 2000, will be coming back on 2014 to the Transportation Expenditure Plan. It focuses and guarantees funding for the Safe Routes to School program, along with focusing on transit, making it affordable, and preventing or providing traffic relief and improving quality of the air and creating jobs. With that, if there's any questions, I'm all yours.
I have a question, John.
Yes.
Thanks for the presentation, and I'm glad Anna Yates got on board. As you're probably aware, at the commission discussion level, when this subject has come up, we've talked about other things like school crossing guards, and before the high school was demolished and when the Center for Community Life gets built, our K-12 school will be one campus, will be on a state highway. And so do you know what kind of flexibility there is to add school crossing guards?
To this program or to this
Correct.
funding source?
Correct.
This funding source has a specific exclusion for the school crossing guards. And that's not something that we as an agency created. The element behind there, though, is there's other fund sources that are capable of being procured. The walk audit helps identify those opportunities and locations, which can be a tool to include into those grant applications.
Do you know if Anna Yates is utilizing walking school buses?
Yes, they are.
Okay, great.
I have a question.
Number 12.
I'm wondering, would it be to our advantage for maybe Mr. Gallagher, for him to look at the design plans for ECCL and kind of reconcile that and compare it to the walk audit and see if we are in alignment via our design to the county's walk audit. Therefore, maybe in the future when it's built, we could apply or be in line for some of those grants based on, having everything consolidated or, everything matching what the walk audit is all about.
So let me provide some clarity. The walk audits are performed to schools that are currently participating in the Safe Routes to School
Okay.
program. The particular school that I believe you're identifying is not one that's in our Safe Routes to School program.
It's not built yet.
It does not necessarily exclude them. We would be able to entertain that request, but the essence of the background of the walk audit is taking input from the parents that participate at that champion that effort, hearing the feedback from the school district, hearing the feedback from the principal and the children, okay, and also using any statistical information of incidents. And from that, our team has planners on board that work to compile a comprehensive list. We work with the city, we work with the school board to identify and create that concept plan, which then can be used for pursuing grant opportunities. So I did want to provide that clarity. Chances are we have not done one to that location. Anna Yates, I don't believe we've done one yet. Can we do one in time if there was a need to pursue a grant? I just need to hear that request, and I can work with my team for availability to make that happen.
Okay. Would that be something, staff, that would be feasible or worth doing?
Yeah, yes, and all of this is real timely because as part of the ECCL project, we have a traffic engineer from the firm of Peers, Fair and Peers. It's the same traffic consultant that the city uses, and they're doing a detailed traffic management plan that deals with car traffic, promotes pedestrian and biking to schools. So we can roll this in. They'll be preparing this plan over the next month, and as part of their work, we spent about an hour at dismissal time in Anna Yates with the this traffic engineer from Fair and Peers. We're going to do the same thing at Santa Fe High School. We're going to do it at least a couple times and get the kind of information that he's talking about and get that rolled into this traffic management plan, because it affects how we do the striping, it affects how we do the signalization of the traffic signals there on San Pablo, and so it fits nicely with this data. And I'll get your card and make sure that that we marry those two processes up.
Sounds good. Thank you.
John, I have a question.
Yes.
We presently have a capital improvement project on safe routes to school on San Pablo Avenue, and I would assume that you are working closely with our city engineer, and that you're aware that those plans are pretty far down the road. So before they get locked in or painted on, I hope every entity is talking to each other.
So my understanding, actually, I was provided that update. This is the bulb out project. I believe they did make a presentation to the city and school committee twice, and I believe they're trying to, they have to have this constructed by the end of this year.
Exactly.
Now, they are anticipating to start south of Anna Yates, and it's gone before Caltrans, and there is a requirement as far as the timing of those funds. Now, having said that, I received my update today, but my team is working actively with that group, okay? And that's important to understand that, and I believe that is the Fair and Pierce team, because I did see...
We want everybody talking to each other.
They are
right.
talking. They're fully engaged, and matter of fact, my team's on board with all of those presentations. The team is led with Alta Planning and Associates, who's our prime contractor who delivers the Safe Routes to School program.
Thank you.
And the city engineer is part of our weekly ECCL project team meeting.
Good.
Member West.
Yeah, I just want to respond to some of those comments as well. When you're talking about the traffic impact analysis or with Fair and Peers, just because it's something I see more often than the pickup time, I hope that the drop-off time is also analyzed, because I think that's pretty key and different but similar to pickup. At Anna Yates, that's where I tend to be at 8:30 in the morning. And then my second point is one that's come before us several times at the council, which is the bike ped path, which is built into the design of phase 2 of this project, but not phase 1. And I am a very strong proponent. I think that a bike ped path could only improve safe routes to school, people being able to feel comfortable. As it was mentioned, San Pablo is a state highway. It's not the most ideal way for people to get around, and there is no other way between Hollis and San Pablo to get through that super block. So I'm just going to put my little pitch in here, and I hope Fair and Piers is also looking at what the project would be like with or without that bike ped path, so that that is articulated and it comes to the decision makers with full information as well.
So one thing that Alameda County Transportation Program, or Alameda County Transportation, does focus on is that bike ped path for the county. So we do have a county-wide comprehensive plan, and we did work with the local jurisdictions to itemize and identify those. So essentially, Safe Routes to School always turns back to that, identifies with that, and works on the connectivities that complement it. And that's, I think, the critical portion there. It's not happening in a vacuum.
And can I mention one other thing, which is that everyone seems in favor of the bike ped path at this point, except the safety issues that have been raised, but the final hurdle, it seems, is funding, that there's simply not enough money in the budget to pay for that path. And so I want to appeal again to ACTC as a comprehensive support for this countywide plan, or comprehensive plan you mentioned, and what other funding sources could potentially pay for that. I think it was $575,000 price tag that was mentioned. If we can find money in this budget, we'll put it in, is what I was told, but right now there isn't.
So the key piece there is one fund source that I did identify. The actual mechanism of how that's going to be coming together through the CTC, not us, California Transportation Commission, and the MTC for the call for projects. The nice thing about the ATP funding, and if it does go forward the way it's anticipated, is the local jurisdictions, which is the city, the schools, and can pursue this kind of funding. Mm-hmm. Okay, so essentially, you as a city receive pass-through funds from local Measure B. That can be used as your matching fund to pursue these other opportunities. We're really focused on leveraging the local tax dollars to bring in, and one thing I failed to address and identify was in the past 3 years, we used, I think, like $200,000-$300,000 to procure over $2.2 million in capital infrastructure. And this current program that we are doing, for the next 3 years, uses $800,000 of local Measure B to procure over $10 million of investments into Alameda County. That's the leveraging that we're talking about, and we want to see that continue to grow. We want to work with the local jurisdictions and the schools.
Thank you.
I just kind of wanted to piggyback on what Member West said regarding the bike path. I do think a feasibility study, I can support that, and I think, that's good. But I do want to make the comment that, everyone is not in support of having a bike path because of some safety and security problems back there. But I do think it's worth looking into, and then bringing that back to the full body and letting us discuss some of the safety issues that the school board has regarding having a path back in that area.
So just for clarity, our agency would not be the one that would champion that product.
I understand.
We would be in support of something like that, and if necessary to participate in some of the elements, we could be active players.
And I just want to remind that it is in our general plan to have that path in place.
In terms of the, what did you call it, the walking audit around the school site, what I garnered from your comments was that you would only do that at a school where there's actual a population yet. Our ECCL school, K-12, is still being built, projected for fall of 2015. So how long after, say we open in fall of 2015, how long after that do we need to see the patterns established for you to carry out such an audit?
So this is where another background of mine would come into play. With the agency, we talk about traffic normalization. Generally, after a school opens, you're going to have a pattern that basically needs to normalize. People need to figure out their best way, their best approach, create those identifiable points of ingress, egress. And from there, you also have the external component, which is how is enforcement working? enforcement doesn't always have to be enforcement on the pedestrian or the cyclist, but enforcement in conjunction with the commuters, the drivers. They need to understand that concept. So we do offer bike safety education courses to work as an educational component that piggybacks on that process. So I would say essentially when you were to open up a new facility, you would want to wait 6 months, maybe a year before you do that. But there are planning tools that can come into play. And certainly I can have the team look at it as far as making sure we're not making the fundamental pitfalls from what we can identify at this time. Again, the input of the parents, the input of the children, seeing the traffic analysis, looking at the incidents that occur, that all feeds into the entirety of that program.
So there's conversations you could be having now just based on design and data that we have at this point, it sounds like?
I will
Is that
have
what
to
we
look
can-
at our resourcing based on that and
Mhm.
what your guys' timing frame is, who's at the key players. Like I said, the prime consultant of our program is fully aware and engaged with the Fair and Peers program. So chances are there are elements already being included and addressed.
And you can make sure that happens.
I'm going to verify that again.
Great. All right. Any other comments or questions? Our student members have any thoughts on Safe Routes to School programs? Not at this time, okay. Any public comment? Rodney, please come on up.